What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. So this past week there has been a lot of NBA free agency signings. It hasn't been the craziest free agency period, but it's been a very interesting one. A lot of teams got better, some teams got a little bit worse, so we're going to go over them, especially the Chicago Bulls, who I honestly think have won free agency so far. We'll see where Kawhi Leonard signs. He's probably going to re-sign with the Clippers, I think. But as of right now, the Bulls have definitely won. In my opinion, they've gotten a lot better. We're going to go over a few of them briefly, such as Jarrett Allen. He agrees to a 5-year, $100 million contract with the Cavs. A little odd since they just drafted Evan Mobley, so I don't know if one of them is going to play the 4 and the other is going to play the 5. I'm not really sure how that's going to work, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. Carmelo Anthony agrees to a 1-year deal with the Lakers. I like this for the Lakers. He can score off the bench, and he's a good leader, good veteran, and him and LeBron are good friends, so that works for them, I guess. Here's one of the big ones. Lonzo Ball agrees to a 4-year, $85 million contract with the Bulls. I think this is pretty good for both sides. I think this is good for Lonzo. Bulls have plenty of scoring where Lonzo doesn't need to be a consistent scorer, because that's not what he does. He playmakes, he passes, he gets opportunities for his teammates to score, and he plays very good perimeter defense. That is his job. He does that well. Bulls just signed and trade for DeMar DeRozan. They already have Nikola Vucevic. They have Zach LaVine. Lauri Markkanen, I think, is still there. They also signed Alex Caruso, who can come off the bench and get some buckets. Kobe White's still there, so they improved a whole lot, and Lonzo can do what he does best there, which is score a little bit, but mostly pass and play defense. Not to mention, this is not a whole lot of money that they're paying him. $85 million over 4 years is not that much money in the NBA. I mean, the Hornets are paying Gordon Hayward a 4-year, $120 million contract, so pretty good for both sides, I'd say. Steph Curry gets a 4-year, $215 million contract extension with the Warriors. Man, that's an insane amount of money. I am happy for Steph. If he didn't come to the Hornets, I'd like him just to stay with the Warriors for his career. He's probably my favorite player all time, who's not a Hornets player, so I love the dude, love watching him play, so I'm glad for him. Of course, you see DeRozan, he got signed and then traded. He signed a 3-year, $85 million contract with the Bulls. So 1 year less than Lonzo, but the same amount of money, so he's going to be getting paid more per year. But I think this is a good deal for both. He's getting a little bit older. I think a 3-year deal is right where it needs to be. Here's an interesting one. Andre Drummond agrees to a 1-year deal with the Sixers. I guess he'll be the backup to Embiid. He's definitely not going to start over Embiid. But he's good coming off the bench, getting rebounds and everything. He just can't space the floor at all. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to many people, but maybe it'll work. SGA agrees to a 5-year, $172 million max extension with the Thunder. He has been playing very well. I think he averaged like 23 or 4 points last year, so he's definitely going to be a star soon. Right under this, Devontae Graham, former Hornet. I hate to see him go. I had his jersey. He was actually like one of the first Hornets jersey I got a couple years ago. He is with the Pelicans now on a 4-year deal for almost $50 million. I think this is a decent deal for the Pelicans. A very good deal for Devontae Graham. I'm not sure he's worth over $10 million a year because he doesn't play good defense, and he's an above average shooter and an above average playmaker, and that's about it. So I hate to see him go, but I'm glad we didn't pay him that much money. Dwight Howard agrees to deal with the Lakers. The specific terms are not yet reported, so we don't know for how many years or how much money. It's probably a 1-year deal, maybe 2 at the most. But I like this for the Lakers. Obviously, he was on the team when they won the championship the year before, so I think this is a good move by them. Kyle Lowry agrees to a 3-year deal with the Heat for $90 million. Good move by the Heat to get a point guard who's good. He's getting older. I think he's better than Goran Dragic. I think this will definitely make them better. So I think it's also good signing for Lowry because he's getting older, and that's a lot of money for like a 35-year-old point guard, I think. JaVale McGee agrees to a $5 million contract with the Suns for just 1 year. That is a great signing by the Suns. JaVale McGee, despite all his Shaq-ing a fool appearances, he is actually a very solid center. I would have loved to sign him, but that's very cheap for a center of his caliber, so great move by the Suns. My man Malik Monk also is going to the Lakers. Sad to see him go. He was getting better. He definitely wasn't what people wanted him to be for the Hornets, but I definitely would have liked to re-sign him for a little bit of money, not a whole lot, but because he'd be a good sixth man. And here we go. Finally won by the Hornets. Kelly Oubre Jr. 2-year, $26 million contract with the Charlotte Hornets. I'm not sure how I feel about this entirely yet. I mean, I like it initially. Kelly Oubre is a pretty good player. I think he averaged like 15, 16 or so points last season. I didn't watch his game a whole lot. I didn't watch that much basketball that wasn't Hornets. I think there's a pretty good deal for both. $13 million a year, I think that's about right for Kelly Oubre, so we didn't overpay him. I think he can definitely come off the bench and help the depth of the team a whole lot and make the second unit really, really good. So overall, good signing by the Hornets. Mitch Kupchak is doing a fantastic job so far, and I cannot wait to watch the season this year. And here you have the stupid Suns. Like, what are they doing? Chris Paul, a 4-year contract that could be worth up to $120 million. Okay, so it says it could be worth up to that much, so I don't know how much is guaranteed. That could really determine whether this is a good contract for the Suns or not, because if a lot of that was guaranteed, then that'd be a terrible contract. He's going to be 37 soon. He's declining. I mean, he played well last year. He got him to the finals, not by himself, of course. But he's only going to get worse, and a 4-year deal just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but maybe they know what they're doing. Also, the Hornets signed Ish Smith to a 1-year deal. So Devontae Graham leaves, we get Ish Smith. I don't know for how much. It can't be that much. Ish Smith, that's a hard name to say. He's not as good as Graham, but he's a very solid backup. So you can have LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier at the 1 and the 2 in the starting. And then Ish Smith could be the backup point guard. Don't know how much it's going to be worth, but I like the signing by the Hornets once again. Here's another interesting one. Kemba Walker gets a buyout from the Oklahoma City Thunder and agrees to a deal with the Knicks. We don't know how much it is for yet or how many years, but I like this move for both Kemba and the Knicks. Kemba was going to be on a terrible team in Oklahoma City, and now he's going to a solid team in New York and is going to make the playoffs. Obviously, I love Kemba being a Hornets fan, and I'm glad to see him go somewhere where they're going to compete, and I think the Knicks could definitely use him for some scoring. And the last one on here, Cody Zeller agrees to a 1-year deal with the Portland Trail Blazers. I hate to see Cody go. He wasn't great for us. He was the 4th pick in the 2013 draft. So he obviously didn't live up to that 4th overall pick status that he had. But nonetheless, he was still on the team for many, many years, was solid for the team. He always did the little things right, like set screens and stuff like that. I'm sad to see him go, but I'm glad that he's getting an opportunity somewhere else. Well, that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed. Once again, I think the Bulls definitely won this free agency, getting Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, the GOAT Alex Caruso. Just fantastic work by them and their front office. It sucks for me being a Charlotte fan because that's just going to make the East more competitive, and we didn't even make the playoffs last year when the Bulls were bad. So we'll see how it goes. We'll be improved as well. Also, thank you so much for all support on my Did the Hornets Win the NBA Draft video a few days ago. It's almost at 1,000 views, which is insane, because I have just over 200 subscribers, and I'm happy if a video just gets over 50 views. So thank you guys so much for that. I doubt this video will blow up like that one did, but hopefully it'll get a few views at least. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
I can tell you now, I've been feeling fine. I'm just focused on the grind. Yeah, everybody